Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Coming to you with another QRA Live. I'm Jimmy Yin, your host, aka the Acu Sensei. And so every Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, I do this QRA Live, which is quick restorative acupressure. Because we get a lot of comments asking, hey, what do I do for this? What can I do for this? Show me a QRA for this. And so that's why I started doing this QRA live. So I can help you directly answer your questions. Thank you for following me. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Um, as you are jumping in onto our channel, make sure you type into the chat. I've got my live chat going. Type into the chat, what is it that you need help with? What is it that you want me to show you a QRA, a quick restorative acupressure that can help? I'll explain also why it works. I'll explain what else you need to do because it's not QRA in itself. I'm going to be transparent with you. That's one of our core values, transparency. QRA does not solve everything. It is a maintenance. It is to help you maintain. It is not a permanent fix. You need to combine many other things. There is never just one thing you need to do. There's always multiple things. But as you join in, type in. The first person who types in what they need help with is what I'm going to go over. So as I wait for people to type into the chat, I need to give you my disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a physician. I am not trained in prescribing medications. I'm not trained in doing surgery. So I will not comment on those things. I will, everything that I'm teaching you, sharing with you here, legally, I'm required to share, to say, hey, you need to check with your physician before you try anything. You try any of these tidbits, right? Even though I am, um, it is in my training, but still, my suggestions, legally, I have to say, you have to talk to your physician. Do I believe that? Not necessarily. Okay, so you jump in early. I'm going to jump in early with you as well. So Francis, good morning. Already jumping in. Hypothyroidism. So this is a lot. There is an increase in hypothyroidism. It's an underactive, so your thyroid is not producing enough. Underactive. Hyperthyroid is complex. It's because most people think it's just your thyroid. I will show you the thyroid QRA, but it's beyond your thyroid. It's not just your thyroid. You have to look at your adrenal glands. You have to look at your pituitary gland. You have to look at your liver. Those, I would say, if you in conventional medicine or even functional medicine. Functional medicine, I still categorize, it's still conventional medicine um, because the process of looking at it is a little better, but it's still similar. So the information out there is you look at your thyroid, you look at your adrenal glands, you look at your pituitary. For females, you look at your ovaries, uterus, especially if you still have your menstrual period. But if you're over, you've already passed menopause, you're right in menopause, then they don't look at your ovaries and your uterus, right? But here's what I'm also going to tell you. You need to look at every other organ. Every other organ affects your thyroid. This is in Chinese medicine. That's what I'm trained in, traditional Chinese medicine. Um, and the reason why, if the current knowledge is, oh, I look at my adrenal glands, I look at my even liver, right? Why is the hypothyroid problem still going up? Because they're still not addressing the root cause. The root cause of hypothyroid is different for everybody. Are there similarities? Absolutely, but it's different from everybody. You need to seek someone who knows how to uh, how to identify the root cause. Okay? Yes, Francis, sugar stresses the adrenals, but not just sugar. There's three main stresses. Sugar is just one of them. Is it a big culprit here in the US? Absolutely. It is one of the big ones, but it is not the only ones. There's three main stresses: physical, chemical, emotional. Sugar is a chemical stress. So a chemical stress is what you put. So it's sugar, it's caffeine, right? It's what you put in your mouth. Medication stress. Um, Recently, my dad, who's 84, um, he's going through some sinus issues, some polyps issues, and the physician gave him some antibiotics, and he doesn't take medications. He doesn't take medications, but for this time, he started taking the antibiotics, and because his body is not used to receiving medications from his whole, most of his life, taking these antibiotics is damaging his liver. His liver enzymes shot through the roof, right? And so that's why my point of saying that is medications can damage your liver as well because they got to be processed through your liver. Okay. So that's chemical stress. Physical stress is not enough exercise, too much exercise. Those are physical stress, right? So not enough exercise, too much exercise, not enough rest. Those all create stress. Um, so that's physical. I did chemical, physical, emotional. Emotional, we know. Emotional is, okay, you get stressed out. Okay. It's not other people stress you out. Nobody can stress you out. Did you realize that? Nobody can stress you out. You allow other people to stress you out. When people don't do things the way you want them to do it, that doesn't have to stress you out. You could let it go, but most of us, I know it's easier said than done, most of us do not let it go, and we allow that to stress us. So those three things stress your adrenal glands, but they don't just stress your adrenal glands, they also stress your liver, right? And also your other organs. Okay. So, but let's come back to uh, the reason why I'm talking a lot for hypothyroid, because it is complex. It is not just a simple thing, right? And so if we have more time, Francis, I can go in more detail. But let me first show you a QRA, quick restorative acupressure. This is not acupressure. Let me distinguish. Acupressure is acupuncture points. Acupuncturists, they learn points to put the needles and you push on that point. This is not, QRA is not that. This is not set points. QRA is not set points. It is areas, okay? Any point, any part of your body can be a point. Anywhere I'm pushing right here on my finger can be a point, okay? And so let's talk about my finger. Why don't we use our hand for QRA, okay? Last week I used the wrist for QRA, but you can use your hand as well, okay? So your hand, okay? I'm going to use the whole hand. So the whole hand is if we say the tips of the finger are kind of like the top of the head, right? And so if we use our fingers as the whole head, then underneath in this area right here, like like in the palm where you get the callus, right? This area right here, if you can see me point to it, right? This area corresponds to your neck area. This whole area right here, neck area. And so our neck area, that's where our thyroid gland is, right? Now, our thyroid gland is something that's smushy, gushy, right? It's not something that's hard. It's not a bone, okay? So if you're going to want to stimulate, do a QRA for your thyroid, you want to find the squishy part, right? You don't want to push on the bone, because if you push on the bone, it corresponds to actually your spine, your cervical spine, your neck. So you want to push in between the squishy areas. Any part of these squishy areas can stimulate blood to your thyroid, okay? And so in between the bones. And even here, right? Here's a big spot right here. You can squish here in between. Ooh, mine's very tender. So you can squish here, right? Squish here in between the bones, the squishy part. This will stimulate blood to your thyroid gland because it's an image. It's a mirror image. And so if you have some people who have hypothyroid or hyper, they feel like it's a swallowing, like something's inhibiting their swallowing. They feel like it's swollen. You push into here every single day, right? Every single day as much as you want. When you're waiting, I don't know, you're waiting in an office, waiting for a meeting, push on here. Just push through here. Both hands. Don't just stick with one hand. That will stimulate blood to your thyroid. Okay. Now, let's go to the liver. Okay. The liver, which is another organ that affects your thyroid, right? Why? Because here's what, this is what functional medicine practitioners will teach you, and this is what they're great at. They'll teach you these additional processes that happen in your body, right? So our bodies produce two types of thyroid hormone. One is T4, you've probably heard it. One is called T4, one is called T3. I like to use the analogy of gasoline. Okay. Our cars, um, our cars run on gasoline. Okay. I'm not talking about the electric cars, I'm talking about just the gasoline cars. So where do we get gasoline? We get gasoline besides from the pump. Okay. We get it from the pump, but what are we pumping? What's in that pump? Where do we get the gasoline from the pump? Gasoline is I would say processed, refined from crude oil. Like they drill oil in the ground, right? Like here in Texas, we have some oil, especially West Texas. They drill the oil. That's crude oil. That's the raw oil. But you can't just put the raw oil into your car and then drive your car, right? It probably won't go too far and it'll break down really soon. Okay, so that means your car cannot use the raw crude oil. So what does it need to do? So that's why chemical engineers, they need to get the raw crude oil and process it, refine it, and convert it into a usable gasoline. That's what's in the pump, and that's what we pump into our car. And then we can use that usable gasoline. Okay, so we have crude oil converted into usable gasoline. Hopefully that y'all are following me here. The thyroid hormones are exactly the same. We have a crude oil thyroid hormone. We have a gasoline thyroid hormone. Crude oil is called T4. Our bodies cannot instantly, it can only use a little bit of it, but our bodies do not run on crude oil, T4. Our bodies run on T3, which is gasoline. Okay, analogy. So T4 needs to be converted to T3. So just like crude oil needs to be converted to gasoline, our bodies run on gasoline, so T3. So where does that conversion occur? You may think it occurs here in your thyroid gland. Some of it does, but majority of that conversion, excuse me, does not occur in your thyroid gland. So when you have a hypothyroid problem, many times, like the hundreds of patients that we've treated in our clinic, many times the problem is not the thyroid, it's elsewhere. So if you try to solve your thyroid problem by addressing your thyroid, you're going to be taking medication for the rest of your life because the problem's not here. The problem is somewhere else. Okay, but let's come back. So where does that conversion happen? 60% or more, okay? 60% of that conversion from crude oil into gasoline, from T4 to T3, occurs in your liver. Liver. Okay, so your liver affects your thyroid, hypothyroid. If your liver is not working correctly and is not converting your crude oil, your T4 to your T3, you don't have enough gasoline to run. You can pump all the synthroid you want. Synthroid is only T4. Okay, you can pump all the crude oil into your body. It ain't gonna work. You're gonna still feel tired. But here's the thing. Physicians, even endocrinologists, they're using Synthroid is a 50-year-old treatment. Hasn't medicine evolved? Why is your endocrinologist still using a 50-year-old medicine? It's not because it works. Okay, I'm not going to get into that with the big pharma. Okay, so when your physician only gives you T4, even synthetic T4, like man-made T4, they are just pumping your body full of crude oil. It is no different from you go drilling your own oil well, and getting that oil from the ground and just putting it into your body. Okay? That's what your car is going to break down. That's why we have a epidemic of thyroid problems here in the US because the treatment's wrong. Okay? Um, Not necessarily fatty liver, Francis. Fatty liver prohibits anything. Anything that damages your liver will prevent your liver from converting your T4 to T3. Okay. So anything that damages your liver. So what damages your liver might be your next question. The thing that damages your liver are toxins. Everything has to be processed through your liver. What was the toxin that I just shared with you about my dad? He's taking antibiotics. He's taking medications for the first time, not the first time, but for the first time in like 50, 60 years, right? He's been taking medications. And so that damages your liver. Sugar, okay? White stuff, white bread, white rice, white bread, white potato, what else white? White sugar, obviously, high fructose corn syrup, okay, high fructose sugar, right? All these man-made sugar, processed foods, they all damage your liver. So this is why, if you have thyroid problems, you want to eat a clean diet. And it may take you a year to feel better. If you just, I mean, it should take you faster if you're eating the right foods, but it may take you long. You have to be consistent. Okay. So that's you got to make sure. Um, so let me just share one more QRA for the liver, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Okay. So QRA for the liver. Where is your liver? The liver, so here's my ribs. Here's my ribs, right? Right in here, okay? So the liver's tucked right in the ribs. So here's my ribs. I'm grabbing my ribs right here. And so it's tucked in. This is my right side. It's tucked in here. So it's the liver is here. Okay. So there is a direct nerve pathway that is connected to the liver on your legs that you can try. Okay. So, so the liver, you want to find the bone, this bone, okay? This is called your tibia. It's pretty wide. It's like this wide, right? This is my bone. I'm just outlining my bone. You can see my bone right here. There's a nerve that's connected along this tibia bone. If you just go run your fingers like this, you'll find it's very tender, right? All of us should have it because your liver is working overtime, especially if you like to eat. I like to eat. So, but I don't eat terribly every day, but I did do it yesterday. So this is why this is tender. You're gonna rub your finger along this bone, okay? So remember, it's this wide, so it's this wide, so you want to rub it. You can rub it here and just down, just the whole bone, rub it. You can even just use your whole finger, your whole knuckles along here. This you can rub it every day. It's going to be tender. Don't rub so hard initially, otherwise you're going to bruise yourself and it's going to be very sore. So rub one leg at a time and do this for 30 seconds every single day. This will stimulate blood flow to your liver, okay, to help your liver recover. Okay. So I didn't share. Why do you want blood? Why is QRA all about moving blood? Because all your nutrients are in your blood. Even if you want to detoxify your liver, you need to move blood to your liver because those toxins are carried in your blood vessel as well. Nutrients and waste is carried in your blood. Okay. So you want to move blood to that area so it can carry the waste to your intestines and to your kidneys so you can poop it out and you can pee it out. Okay, so that's why. All right, let me move on to the next topic. Oh, I spent a lot. Thank you. Dolores, good morning. Thank you for tuning in again. I consume too much sugar by raisins in my trail mix. A small palmful is, yeah, Dolores. So actually the liver, Dolores, what I just shared, my QRA for the liver on the Shin, you need to do that like right now if you ate too much sugar, okay, by raisins. Yes, raisins have a lot of sugar, okay? You need to dried fruit. I would stay away from dried fruit. Dried fruits, they evaporate the liquid, they only keep the sugar. Okay. Fruits do have fructose. Now, fructose, if it's eaten by itself, is terrible. It kills your liver. It's killing you. However, if you eat it as a fruit, like instead of eating raisins, you eat grapes. Eating grapes, okay? If you eat grapes, there's fiber in it. Fiber prevents your body from absorbing that fructose too quickly. That's why you have to eat fruits as a whole. Never drink fruit juices. Fruit juice is one of the deadliest foods for your liver. Okay. Rita, good morning. Good to see you again. Good morning. I suffer from occipital headaches once in a while. Okay. So occipital headaches. Occipital headaches are in the back. For those of you that don't know, they are right here. Occipital bone. Okay. They're right here, back here. So there's many ways. So if I use my hand as my head, so my head, right? My whole head. So this is the top of my head. This is the top of my head. This is near my neck. Okay. So remember also what I did yesterday, last week, not yesterday. So this is my wrist is my neck, and this is the top of my head. Where is the occipital? Where is the occipital? It's close to the neck. Occipital bone is close to the neck, right? So if my occipital bone is close to the neck, and this is my wrist is my neck, then my occipital bone is probably around here, right? Around this area of my hand. So next time, Rita, you have a occipital headache, you want to go in here. Now, the occipital bone is a bone. It's hard. So you can press on the bone. Press on the bone. Find the most tender spot. Press on the bone. This is the back side of my hand, okay? So you want to press on the bone. Now, I also, a lot of times, occipital headaches start from the neck. So you want to go into your wrist, okay? You want to go all into your wrist, find that tender spot, and really, when you find that tender spot, so when you're having the occipital headache, find the tender spot and dig in for 30 seconds. Like it has to hurt this hand here, okay? It's got to feel sore. Dig into it, and then dig into it, and then move your neck around, and that headache should decrease. Okay. If it doesn't decrease with this, I'm going to give you number 2. Okay. This goes back to the leg because, so this is the inside of my leg. This part, this area, okay, is my eye area. My eye, let's see, my eye and my ear. And guess what? It's the occipital area too. See, my occipital bone is close to this area, to this line. So I'm going to get to my knee, which is the eyeball area, and I'm going to find that shin bone, okay? And I'm going to find, remember, occipital bone, you're going to push on bone, okay? You're going to find the bone. See, mine's really tender right here. And so find the tender spot right here in this on the bone, press on it. This If this one didn't work, this is technique number 2, QRA number 2, and see if that works. Okay. So Rita, if you have a occipital headache right now, please give that a try and let me know. All right. Okay. Let's see. Francis. So like a fatty liver, I sure won't take the meds. Yeah, I'm not against medications. Don't get me wrong. I want to clarify again. I'm not a physician. I can't tell you what to do with medications. I'll just tell you I'm not against medications. There is a time for medications, but it is not a permanent solution. Medications don't fix anything. Okay, they are not a permanent solution. If they did fix things, then people could just take it, and then they could just take it and stop it, and their body should self-heal again. Right? When does that ever happen? Have you ever taken a medication for a problem and then stopped taking it and that problem just went away? It doesn't, right? That's why I say it doesn't fix any things. So there is a time, I would say short-term benefit of medications. It works fast, okay? But you don't want to take it too long-term. At least that's not what I recommend. So I told my dad, hey, yeah, you can take the medication to get a specific result, and then we'll work on using Chinese herbs, nutrition, diet, lifestyle to get you off the medication so that your body can do it by itself. Okay, that's what I recommend for my dad. So that's what I recommend for our patients too, because we treat our patients like they are our family members. Okay. Great. Let's see. Live life better. Thank you for joining again. What's an alternative for fruit juice? Alternative for fruit juice is you can, I would say, fruit smoothie. You can put it in a smoothie. Okay. So fruit juice is basically it's like a juice extractor. Throw away your juice extractor. Those are terrible for you. Okay. They were made famous by Jack LaLanne, fitness guru, but you know, now it's terrible. If you have a juice extractor, throw it away. Now, if you have a blender, you want to replace it with a blender. Blender is you put the whole fruit into it, right? You put the whole fruit into it and blend it with a high power. I have a Vitamix, and I bought my parents a Vitamix too, a high power, so they can blend it. When you blend it, you keep the fiber. That's the key. You keep the fiber of the fruit. Okay? So live life better. Hopefully that helps you. Rita, I had cervical spine surgery. Yeah, you see? So, I've treated thousands. Our clinic has treated thousands of migraines, occipital headaches. I would say 99% of them come from the neck. So, Rita, go into the wrist, okay? Or go into your ankle to help with that. Okay. Last few minutes, guys, and I will need to leave. Thank you for joining. Zachy Vids, thank you for joining. Any acupressure points for supporting the adrenals and insulin resistance? Okay. So, Zachy, you probably joined in a little late. So I don't do acupressure. These are not acupressure. They may look like acupressure, but they're not. They are QRA. They're quick restorative acupressure. It's different from acupressure. So I will show you QRA for supporting the adrenals, insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a big topic. It's a huge topic, okay? It is not just I press here and it will help my insulin resistance. No, that's not the case. You need to figure out what is causing your insulin resistance besides you eating the wrong things. Assuming you're eating the right things and you still have insulin resistance, then you got to figure out which organs have been damaged by your eating before, okay? But specifically, you talked about adrenals. So I'm going to talk about adrenals, right? So the adrenals, because they secrete cortisol, and cortisol release causes blood sugar to go up, which does cause insulin resistance to get worse. So your adrenal glands they sit on top of your kidneys. Your kidneys are right here, right here. So they sit on top of your kidneys. So there's about this area right here. This area right here. So if I draw a line all the way around here, it goes actually to almost to my liver area, almost same place. So if I draw a line right here, and I'm going to use my arm, and I'm going to draw a line right here to my arm, okay? So I'm going to keep my hand here so you can see close up, close up, close up, close up. It's near my elbow. So you're going to press around your elbow, all around your elbow, inside, outside, all around your elbow, and this will stimulate blood to your adrenal glands. Okay. You can use both arms. Okay. Doesn't matter. You can choose one arm at a time, 30 seconds every single day. When you're waiting at a bus stop, you're waiting for your order at a restaurant, just press, press, press all around. Okay. All right. Let's see. What about 100% juice in a cattle? If you haven't got access to fresh fruits to mix supplements and powders in, in a bottle. What about, okay, so great question, Live Life Better. So 100% juice in a bottle, like you buy in a grocery store, no. So some of them, this is what they do. They juice extract it. So they put it through a juice extractor. They get the liquid, they get the pulp, and they just dump the pulp back in, right? Don't do that. Okay. That's still make your own smoothie. Okay. Just get a blender, dump it in, and blend it. If you don't get access to fresh fruits, can you mix, basically, I think you're asking, can you mix supplements and powders in? Yes, you can. So they have, like we use designs, designs for health, there's many supplements that have like fruits that they extracted into and into a powder, and you just mix it with water. Yes, you just want to make sure the sugar content, the carbs content is low. The sugar content, you want to make sure they don't add any sugar, right? So no added sugar. I have a greens powder that also has some vegetables and fruits in it, but I also eat fresh fruits. Okay. So nothing can replace fresh fruits. Let me just say that. In society, we are so busy that we don't have time. We have time. We choose not to make time. Let's get that straight first. We all have time because we have time to scroll our phones on social media. We have time watching TV. We have time. So it's just so we can't say we don't have time. We have time to get a piece of fruit, peel it, and eat it. So that's gonna be the best. Okay. So nothing can replace that. The next thing that's a substitute, temporary substitute, can be those powders. Okay. So if you can't eat it, blend it. Step two is make a smoothie. There's many smoothie stores outside. Just tell them don't add sugar into it because they'll add syrup and all this other stuff into it. Just say, hey, just put the fruit in there. And if you want some ice, it's okay. Put some fruit, ice, you're good to go. Okay. So do that. All right. I have sinus pressure issues. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry, I need to leave, but thank you for tuning in. If I didn't get to your question, if I wasn't able to help you, make sure you tune in every Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell button to get notified when I go live. All right, so you can get in. Okay, guys. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next week.